Hello, welcome back to our social media channel. I'm Jenny. I'm here with Alessandra and then Clara. Clara is our intern. She's been with us for coming on 2 years now and is just a really vital part of our team. So we wanted to get a chance for you guys to get to know her a little bit. So welcome, Clara. Thanks for being here. Um,
Hi, thanks for having me.
if you would just start off by telling us a little bit about why you actually approached us, even about helping, which was just
Mhm.
a huge unmet need for us.
Yeah. So I feel like I really kind of stumbled into this line of advocacy very naturally. So in my family, I feel like not a day goes by that we don't talk about kind of like the need for change in our healthcare systems. So my mom's a pediatric neurologist at Cone, and she also is the medical director for Kids Path, which is a children's hospice under AuthoriCare. And I do a lot of volunteer work with them as well. And then my dad is a healthcare lawyer. So he does a lot of healthcare policy, and especially like in our current climate, is doing a lot of work with like local politicians. And then my oldest brother has some medical conditions. He was born with epilepsy and autism. And so I think like I've seen directly through him, even with our privilege and our resources, like how difficult it has been to get him the things that he needs. And so I think just like through seeing all of this, like there was just no way that I couldn't get involved myself. Like I just saw so many barriers and so many gaps and so many places for improvement. And I just knew that from very early on that I really wanted to get involved and make my own difference in that.
It's so
And what
great. And being the youthful exuberance that you are in your talent at social media is coming in handy with some old moms here that are struggling to keep up. So how did you find out about our organization?
Yeah. So my mom and Dania know each other. And so she talked to Dania, I think, was talking to my mom, and my mom was talking to Dania about how you all were needing someone to kind of assist, especially with like social media and design. And that's something I personally have a passion for. And so my mom just told me, she was like, oh, yeah, like there's this really cool group of moms who've gone together and just kind of created this community and this like hotspot for all of these resources where families can go to. And like for me, I was just like, wait, like this is something that I feel like we've always needed. Like I've shadowed my mom in her clinic, and I do a lot at Kids Path too. So I'm constantly, I feel like, working to connect families to resources, and also struggling because it's like it's all over the place, and like these families are already dealing with so much that they just need an easy location to be able to see what's available to them. And so I was just like, yeah, I definitely want to get involved. I feel like that's something that could be so helpful to so many families. And so like I just wanted to get involved in any way I could.
And
that's
we should point
amazing.
out that you're, sorry, Alessandra, I was going to say we should point out that you still are in high school. You're a high
Yes.
school senior waiting
Mhm.
on college acceptances to come back, which I'm sure will just flood in for you. So we're so excited about how you're channeling the knowledge that you've gained at such a young age and trying to enact change through different groups. It's really wonderful.
Thank
I'm
you.
just blown away how your lived experience with your family, with your parents, particularly your mom and your older brother, how living that gave you such insight at such a young age as to the desperate need for families like children such as your older brother, and that you saw the gap in need and
Mhm.
immediately were drawn to an organization, and that you yourself, at such a young age, which is extremely impressive, was able to determine there isn't anything else like that. There isn't anything that provides this, and this is a huge need. This is what families need. And making that connection and then going one step further and going, well, I want to be a part of it. That's really, really inspiring. And just as I said, extremely impressive. For me, I think I've got so many questions, Clara. I'm blown away by you as a young woman. I really am. And when you became part of the organization, the little, you've been with us for a while, but you're more on the social media side, but just your knowledge of what we do, how do you see us fulfilling a need that is desperately needed by families? What are the main aspects that you see coming through?
Hmm. Well, I think obviously our website, and I kind of work on the website too, keeping it updated with new resources, and just being able to see that all in one place, I think is so helpful for people, because it can just feel like overwhelming, because it feels like there's nothing available to you, but also there's so much available to you, and you're already overwhelmed, and like you just don't know what the next step should be. And so I think like our website is such an amazing, like clear way, and like something that will always be there for families, that if they are like, like this is something that we're needing, like I should go see if like I there's a resource for me available. It's an easy way for them to be able to go and get that. And then I think through social media, what's really incredible to me is like our amazing community. I think that living with a child who is medically fragile can be so isolating sometimes, because I think like you're experiencing things that a lot of people, it feels like a lot of people around you will understand. And as a sibling of someone, uh, who with special needs, like I definitely experienced that as a kid, just kind of feeling like I was the only one going through some of the things I was going through, and that like no one would quite understand the way that my family operated. And so I think like just being able to see the community that you all have formed on Facebook and now on Instagram and also like in real life, like it's just really amazing, because it's something that like I know I could have benefited from when I was younger, and I know so many of the families that I work with can really benefit from as well.
That's incredible. And I know that you're really involved in our social media aspect on that side, and it's amazing. Like Jenny was saying, us old moms, we're trying to catch up, and you are very, very patient with us. And whenever we get stuck, we just go, oh, thank goodness we have Clara. We can ask Clara. And how valuable you've become to our organization, how integral you are in taking our organization to the next level. Because social media, and now we're trying to develop YouTube, this particular channel, which is now reaching families and reaching individuals on a different platform and just getting broader and broader and trying to meet the demands of a changing world, a changing context and environment. Do you see the benefits in having a social media platform, both in terms of social media and a YouTube channel, and being so involved in this on everyday life, and having so much knowledge, being a much younger generation? How do you see us being able to adapt even more than we are? Do you have, I'm putting you on the spot, Clara. I'm putting you on the spot because you're just such an intelligent, inspiring young woman. Do you see how we could do things even better? Do you have any ideas that you would see being able to meet the community? You mentioned siblings, you mentioned being the sister of an autistic older brother with epilepsy. Do you feel that we could develop that a little bit more in terms of having a community for siblings or
Yeah, I think social media is really such a great community building tool, because it just opens you up to an entirely different like scale of connection. And so I think having social media at all, and like being able to use that in the way you all do, even though you're very critical of how you're using social media, I think what you guys formed on Facebook before I even came into the picture is was already incredible. um And I also think that like as time goes on and as we adapt, like there are so many more possibilities. I think really bridging the gap between social media and then like also real life connection kind of offers so many more possibilities, because I think a lot of the times people view social media in a really like narrow minded way, and a like only kind of be an online connection, and that's somehow more shallow than real life connection. Um, but I think when we can kind of merge the two, like I think what we do through some of our in person events, and I know that we have a celebration coming up, and I think like that really just offers a whole new possibility for connection. I think I really love the idea of like a sibling support group. I was in something like that when I was younger, called like Sib Shop or something. I think that was what it was. And I mean, it was really, we were young, and I think the way that they dealt with it was really nice, because it wasn't like we necessarily went and we just talked about our siblings, because when I was younger, I felt like I was talking about my brother all the time. Like that was my everyday reality. And so kind of what it provided for me was like this space where I could just go and be a kid with other kids who I knew understood. And I also, another community that I'm really integrated with and that I just really have so much love for is Camp Carefree, which provides kind of that similar, just like space for kids to be kids around other people who are going to understand them, and like they don't feel that need to explain themselves. So they have programs for both special needs kids and kids with chronic illnesses, and then they also have like weeks for siblings and also weeks for children of adults with special needs and chronic illnesses. So yeah, I think anywhere where we can integrate that like support and kind of community aspect is so good, because I think that's something that really a lot of families need.
It was really interesting that you brought up virtual community and then the in-person live support community as well. And that is, it's really affirming to hear you say that, because that's something that we've been talking about recently, and seeing how we could bring the community together in a more live stream manner. Obviously, it's not easy because a lot of our families, it's difficult to commit to a specific day or a specific time because of the high demands that our lives require because of our children. So it's a difficult balance having that virtual connection, but there is something like you were saying that's really important in having that in person, even though it's virtual, but that live concept where you can actually communicate with someone live. So we've been talking about that in developing more live streams. And like you said, we've got this event that we're coming up. Well, we've got two events actually coming up, one to celebrate the end of our training, our parent leadership training, and then celebrating our 10th anniversary next year in 2026. So we're slowly moving into that, but it will be so good to have your feedback as we explore this, to see how we can make it more accessible and something more frequent, because it is true that a community that you have virtually is very powerful, but being able to have that back and forth dialogue is just as powerful, that a lot more people are moving to and wanting to engage in. Would you say that's what you're experiencing in a younger generation as well, Clara, that people are wanting that more live aspect to the community?
Yeah. I think honestly, as someone who was in middle school during the pandemic, I think that taught me and so many of my peers so much about how important real human connection was, because you don't really know how to appreciate it until it's like taken away from you.
Mhm.
So I think as much as I see possibility in social media and in online connection, I think that there's also something so like human about just like having dialogue and being able to like put faces to names and being able to like see people, um, that I think will never be able to be replaced.
That's really great to hear that coming from you, because, as I said, we've been talking about that because so many of our families are so isolated, not just because of geography, but logistically caring for their child. It's very difficult to leave their home and to attend anything in person. So how do we bridge, like you said, bridge that gap between virtual connection to the in-person live human connection? So that's exciting. And I'm happy to know that we've got you, that you see that as well, and work with you going forward. That would be amazing. Um, a little bit about your future. You are in high school, you are in your final year, and that's exciting a lot. You're a busy young woman.
Yes, I am.
And what are your plans for the rest of the year and going forward?
Yeah, I feel like right now is such a busy and also exciting and also stressful time because I just like have so much opportunity I feel in front of me. Um, I just wrapped up with college applications. I've still got more little things to do. It feels like it's a never-ending journey. But right now, I'm really interested in going into healthcare and going into medicine. I'm applying into nursing programs. I think I was drawn to nursing specifically because I just really value that human, like caretaking, compassionate care. Um, and that's something that like as I've been writing my many supplemental essays, I feel like I've really wanted to like showcase is that to me medical care was never just about like, oh, you have a problem, we're going to fix it for you. Like I feel like something that's so important and something that can so easily be lost when medicine becomes so corporate is that like human connection and that all around almost like a holistic level of care where you're not only meeting people's medical needs but you're making sure that they're supported in other forms of life. um, and like that's what I love so much about this organization. That's what I love so much about Kids Path is I feel like they do and you guys do such an incredible job of seeking out these needs and then like filling these gaps when the systems around us are kind of failing to do so. Um, and so like with Kids Path, I do a lot of work with their like donations and making sure, well, right now we're in the process of doing like a holiday donation drive so that a lot of these kids whose families are a lot more focused on the bigger issues they have at hand, that these kids can still enjoy a holiday season and that they can still just have that like childlike wonder of like Santa dropped off presents or like, oh my gosh, I just got a new toy. Even though they are dealing with such life changing things happening to them. Um, and so I think when I continue my career, although I'm not 100% sure about what exactly it's going to look like now, like I think that's a pillar I always want to keep is just making sure that I'm always supporting people 100% and seeking out what they need and going above and beyond to fill the gaps, especially when the systems around us aren't doing that.
You just have incredible insight when it comes to that, probably because of your personal experience, but also just, I think it's a gift that you have, and your compassion and care would certainly make you an excellent nurse. But that's where you end up deciding. So, so excited for your future and so grateful for the support you've given us so far and hopefully for a long time to come. So.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can wrap this up. Alexandra can make sure I forget or I remember everything, but please share this message. Clara's story is one of hope and inspiration, and so please help get that out. Make sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you don't miss out on any videos that we have coming up. And of course, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks to Clara.
Yeah, and you'll see
And
me around.
definitely
You'll see
share.
my little name.
Yep, and definitely share our YouTube channel and sign up with our Facebook and our Instagram and share that with everybody. And you will see Clara's name pop up on our social media. She does a lot of the posts. You'll see Clara's name. So we are, as Jenny said, we're so grateful and so humbled by your incredible compassion, your intellect, your level of insight for your age. I'm sitting here and I forget I'm having a conversation with a high school student. I'm loving talking with you, and I could talk to you all day. So, I'm just so impressed by you as a human being and as a young woman. And I wish you only the best. And I'm so excited to be working with you and learning from you. I think we've got a lot we can learn from you. So thank you so much, Clara.
Thank you. I'm really so grateful to have found this organization, and it's been really inspirational to me to watch how just a couple of people could come together and make such big change in what can feel like an impossible issue sometimes, can feel like we're never really reaching a place where every family is being supported. But I think the work that you guys do is so incredible and so necessary and so essential to so many.
Well, Jenny certainly inspires all of us
Mhm.
to do more and do better. So we've got an amazing woman in Jenny.
Thank
Yeah.
you guys. All right. Well, we'll talk with you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi.